All right, let's go for it.
Red alert.
All righty. So, pro-trans group behind Virginia school walkout plans to rehome gay kids who hate their parents. Yay.
Rehome gay. That's called human trafficking.
Kind of is. So, Virginia pro-trans group with Democratic ties able to help gender-confused students leave their families and rehome them with new queer-friendly guardians instead, according to the internal materials obtained by the Daily Wire. The Pride Liberation Project, which should be burned in a fire, which also says it can give money to students who run away and hide from their parents, garnered glowing headlines September 27th when it organized 12,000 high schoolers to walk out of class to protest a draft policy saying that schools should not hide a student's gender transition from his parents. Though billed as being an organic group of high schoolers, taking the lead in the materials was Aryan Rawal, a college student who worked for Virginia Democrat state lawmaker.
Of course it did.
And of course, materials from the group's internal message board so that its plans to go much further than a walkout, a hashtag resources for outed students channel. So the group would help children run away from their parents and arrange for them to be placed with new queer-friendly guardians. We're creating this as a way for everyone to understand the mutual aid and support resources the PLP has available for outed and in crisis students. For full transparency, this channel is catered to outed students who are facing familial rejection or need to leave their home for another reason. In event of you needing to leave your home, we can provide you with emergency housing from a supportive, queer-friendly adult. He continued cautioning, please note that this adult will likely be white.
But it's not grooming.
Yeah, it's not grooming.
Definitely not grooming.
Yeah, that's...
Not in any way.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
Just imagine imagine if they did this with like Muslim children, and they basically well, we're gonna convert them to Christianity or to Judaism or to Mormonism, and we're not gonna tell their parents, and we're gonna remove them from their house and put them into like Mormon households so they don't have to tell so their parents don't have to find out. It's basically kidnapping. Like it's a form of kidnapping because
and of course, David Gordon, head of the Virginia Project, a conservative group that attract ideology in schools, says that it's irresponsible and reckless to the extreme to be doing this with other people's kids. The way this operation works is nearly identical to sex trafficking. This could never be underwritten. The chance of one of these kids ending up in a sexually abused, the chance of one of these kids being sexually abused is almost certain.
Yeah, do you remember that story here
Yikes.
in Alberta, Stephen? Where there was that GSA, and they took the child off of school property to a sex show, and they didn't. It was not a school employee who took the child off school property. It was some random volunteer that I don't even they've gotten vetted by the school themselves.
Messed up in the extreme.
That is how easy it is for them if they allow this kind of.
It's horrifying.
It is only time that would be the only limitation to how long would it be before some kid gets sex trafficked. Good luck. If you're a parent, you should be absolutely brutally outraged at that.
Yep. Well, and thankfully, not just in response to this, but parents have been starting to fight back.
Yeah.
And one of the primary examples is a story.
Red alert.
Sorry, everybody.
Was it going on and on?
Oh no! As soon as I went back to the story, then it came back on. My bad.
Oh, we're going extra ranty today.
Extra ranty today. Super red alert. Iowa mom dresses in drag queen's costume to address school board over drag queen show on school property.
Nicely done.
You go, girl. Iowa mom Kimberly Reichs. Reichs? I'm gonna go Reichs because it's like Reich, the Third Reich, but with a K. Is fed up with her local school board, and if it means dressing up in a provocative dress similar to that of a drag queen, then so be it. Reichs, who wants answers over a Meg drag queen show at Ankeny High School, showed up at Monday night's Ankeny High School board meeting wearing the same outfit as the drag queen, wore at that performance, and decided to give the board a piece of her mind. She stepped up to the podium and soon removed her jacket and sweatpants to reveal the black one-shoulder leotard with tights and black boots. Is this outfit appropriate for anyone here to see? Because if this makes your head turn, if this pisses you off, then it should. Because this guy walked into our school wearing exactly the same thing. And this is, of course, what she's wearing in this right there. And this is a close-up of what she wore. And she shows pictures of what that drag queen wore.
Lovely.
Oh, yes, you are just great. Ah!
That is how you how you expose the ugliness that's happening.
Yeah. And
It's
of course,
secret.
yeah. And that dance is so provocative in what you're showing to children. The school district, according to the Des Moines Register, allowed the Alliance to invite guest performers from the Iowa Youth Parade pageant. And of course, school administrators did not give approval for the performance in advance, and organizers did not follow protocol, according to the Ankeny School District. But it seems like they didn't call it out, and it seems like they didn't decry it. It was just like, well, they didn't follow protocol, but we didn't shut it down. It's like, you should have.
Completely. You know what? When I used to be training in training for my teaching degree, one of the things that my teacher, the one that I was shadowing, he told me, he's like, Danny, when you're in a classroom or where you're anywhere you are, you always have to be ridiculously above reproach. You basically can never be in even in your classroom alone with a child. You can't be. You can't do anything that even hints or even like reeks of impropriety. Like you have to be so far above reproach on everything, and nothing like you can't let anything happen in secret because like it's important to avoid that. Here, everything is done in secret. When you do things in secret, that should be a sign that something evil is happening. You have to keep secret. That is very problematic. And this is exactly what is going on with like schools all over the country. They operate in secret. I should tell you a lot about the morality of all these things, that they have to keep secret and keep them from parents in order that people don't find out. What are you looking at?
Oh, I'm just trying to see if there's an update.
It doesn't look like it.
No, I know.
So so the problem here is that like school drag, children being basically told not to talk to their parents and that they'll lie together to keep their parents in the dark. All of that stuff is sinister. This is the kind of stuff that like always screams of something going on, because secrecy is never a good thing, particularly when you're talking about vulnerable individuals. Secrecy is how you have elder abuse in those old folk homes. Secrecy is how you have animal cruelty happen when people do this in the dark. Secrecy is how you have children abused at home or by babysitters. It's all about secrecy. But apparently secrecy is like the modus operandi of all of these drag performers and all these drag activists, which is really, really concerning. But this is the world we live in right now.
Yeah, it is.
Right, Stephen?
Yep. It's really, really terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very scary. But thankfully, there
Great
are.
commentary, man.
I know. Thankfully, there are organizations which like to poke fun at these groups of people.
Which is the best thing to do, really.
Yeah, it is. So, going back to our tried and trusted Freedom Tunes for their take on all of this.
All hail Seamus.
Groomer crap that they're trying to bring onto children. All hail Seamus.
Did you
indeed.
know every week dozens of innocent school board members are exposed to pornographic materials? Right-wing domestic terrorists are showing these public servants the kinds of obscene images that only 8-year-olds should be forced to see.
He printed out the images we showed the children and made us look at them. It was so disgusting. No one who isn't a grade schooler should be exposed to this kind of content.
These images truly are extremely disturbing. I have to blindfold myself before showing them to my kindergarten class.
I was absolutely horrified when I found out that the weird porn I draw was making its way into the hands of adults. What I create is strictly rated 18 and under.
What I saw, it still haunts my nightmares. Who was there to protect me?
A lot of people have been criticizing me over parents being exposed to my work, but my question is, where are their children? Isn't it their responsibility to supervise the kinds of images their parents are looking at? Where are the children?
They, them are legally not allowed to know where the children are.
Public schools, so good, beautiful, and noble, that showing the public what we teach is an unforgivable crime.
Learn more at protectingpervsfromparents.com.
Yep. Great.
I wonder if that's an actual website. I'm going to look it up.
Oh my gosh, if that was a real website, that would be hilarious. But that's exactly how they think. It's just like, oh, we can't be shown what we show to kids. That's thoroughly inappropriate. Like, it's just horrifying. You can't be doing this. It's just, I remember the one lady was like reading out from the book that her child took out of the library. And they're like, ma'am, this is a public forum. We have to be appropriate. And she's like, are you serious right now? Like, is this a joke?
Yeah.
Like, I'm literally reading out what you have in your public school library. It's like, why is it inappropriate to tell it in front of the school board, which is mostly adults, whereas it's okay to lend it out to kids?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, ma'am, like, this is a public forum. We shouldn't be discussing these things. What? No. Screw you.
Freaking great. I actually found out the reason Jack Posobiec or somebody like that was actually outlining the legal loophole that they're exploiting to do that. Apparently, there's a legal loophole that started off originally, like you know how like police officers have to patrol to find child porn offenders, and apparently, in order for them to be able to view child pornography without being charged for possessing and watching child pornography, there had to be a loophole made in the law. But because that's a federal agency, that power, that loophole actually was able to extend it from a federal police force to school. And so schools apparently also have that protection to be able to kind of watch child, or to promote, or to have child pornography as well. And he said that the reason why they won't let you show it in a public forum is because at that point it's no longer under the purview of a school. So basically, they can actually be legally charged if they allow that stuff to be shown, because if they know it's pornography. But when it's in a school context, it's not pornography apparently to them. It's a weird legal loophole that they're hiding under. But anywhere else, because if you show that book, those pornographic children's books to a child at home, if you're a babysitter, you can be charged with
some serious crimes.
I think it's sexual interference, showing pornography to children. Whereas if you show it to them in school, no problem. That is the problem that's going on there. That is the nonsense there. It is insane, man. Insane in the membrane.
Insane in the membrane.
All right. So I'm thinking with this one, Stephen, we should just go through the stories one by one and not delve too deeply into the actual text. Just kind of